All right, guys, today we're taking a look at the Jasion X-hunter affordable folding electric bike. And I gotta say, I'm a huge fan of the folding bike category, especially if your budget is around $1,000. This type of bike tends to be very budget friendly and still give you all of the features, abilities that more expensive bikes deliver. So immediately you're going to notice that we have the 20 by 4 inch wide fat tires. That's my personal favorite. It gives you great traction, extra cushion. Speaking of cushion, this bike frame is full suspension. We have a standard fork up front along with a unique kind of mountain bike inspired rear linkage. This also comes with full length fenders front and rear, and that to me is a must-have feature. Do not overlook the fenders. When the weather is anything other than a sunny, beautiful day, the fenders will keep you and the bike from getting soaking wet. We have a very sturdy and wide rear rack, a fairly standard at this point Shimano 7-speed gear cog in the back. There's even mounting points in the front if you want a complementary front rack for extra cargo. They've included the most plush, oversized bicycle seat I've ever seen come stock on a bike. I'm a huge fan of that. And for all these folding bikes, the battery along with the controller are tucked away and protected inside of the bike frame itself. And these bikes have a key ignition. I will admit the position is kind of weird. So without the key in, you cannot just, with the push of a button, turn on the bike. So for $1,000, you get a bike that looks this nice with the integrated electronics, full suspension, fat tire, fenders, rear rack, and a key ignition. That's why I'm such a huge fan of folding bikes. For the price point, they are, in my opinion, unbeatable. This bike also has a pretty great pickup. The torque right off the line is very impressive. We're currently testing out the power by doing my pretty standard test at this point. This pretty steep gravel path. It gets steeper and steeper towards the end. And this bike should be able to make it. I've calculated that any bike with a motor that peaks over 1,000 watts can pretty easily make it up this hill. And this motor falls into that category because it's nominal 750 with a peak of 1,200 watts. And the battery here is 48 volts, 13 amp hours. So the voltage is what I expect. The amp hour capacity, it's a little bit low. I would have liked to seen 15. But luckily, these folding bikes are very lightweight, which goes a long way in extending your range. And yeah, we made it up that, no problem. So I'm noticing that the riding position is super upright and comfortable with these folding bikes. We have this massively tall stem, which if you want, you can make it go even taller. That's a little bit ridiculous, but I certainly like this riding position over most bikes which have bars super down low. And since we're looking at the handlebars, you guys probably can't see the display, but I do like how it has a voltage readout. That tells you exactly how much battery you have left. So with a 48 volt battery, this is the chart. And right now we're sitting at 50.4 volts. And as you guys saw, this bike has an adjustable height seat, which makes the pedaling very comfortable as well. Oh, can we do this? Oh yeah, no problem. And that's in stark contrast to most moped style bikes where the pedaling position is very undoable. And as I'm doing this off-roading, the suspension is fairly good. I think that's mostly due to the fat tires. I have the PSI at 12. And this outrageously comfortable bike seat. I noticed with the rear linkage, at least with my body weight, I'm pretty skinny. I'm getting essentially no movement out of it. For some reason, most companies put a super stiff shock. Whoa! But luckily you can pretty easily change that out. But even so, because of the seat and the fat tires, I am experiencing a lot of comfort even off-road right now. Okay, let's do an acceleration and top speed test. Pedal assist 5, the bike is fully unlocked, and we're sitting at 49 or 50 volts. So not quite a full charge, but most of the way there. And this top number is our GPS miles per hour. No pedaling. Let's go. 10, 12, 16, 18, 20, 22, 25, 26. We're going slightly uphill. And again, not quite a full charge in the battery. Yeah, so I have 50 volts going up a slight incline. We got at 26 miles an hour. And I gotta say, the acceleration was also pretty solid. Each controller, each company tunes the bike a little bit differently. This has a good amount on the low end, nothing too extreme. And then the power, the torque curve, it's pretty linear. I like it. The bike responds and behaves exactly how you would want it to. I've tested some cheaper bikes in the past that give you a lot of power, like initially, but then after like 5 miles an hour, the torque like falls off a cliff. And that's not the case with this. It's pretty consistent. But something I don't like as much is the brakes. Unfortunately, we just have mechanical disc brakes on this bike with relatively small 160 millimeter diameter disc. So if we kind of go maximum speed here and then slam on the brakes, I mean, you know, it stops, but I don't have a lot of confidence. Let's do that again. Let's get up to just about a maximum speed. And then I'll slam on the brakes right now. Yeah, I mean, we got some skidding. Yeah, so not terrible, but I always want to see hydraulic disc brakes. Even the cheap calipers are always going to be better than mechanical disc brakes. The gear shifter is very responsive straight out of the box. I did no adjusting, and I can shift through all the gears just fine. Let me put the assist level down so I can do some pedaling here. This is the hardest gear. I can shift up. Yeah, everything works just fine. Yeah, I just learned that because the handlebars are so high, standing up and pedaling feels like an exercise bike, like at the gym where you just stand in place. It's kind of a cool feeling. It's like an elliptical. But I gotta say, riding this bike reminds me so much of my old folding bike that I upgraded and I used for over a year. And it reminds me why I did that. These bike frames are just so well-rounded, especially considering they're just $1,000. And in my case, I upgraded it with a higher voltage battery. So if you're concerned about the ceiling and potentially doing some upgrades in the future, I can personally attest that these folding bike frames can accommodate upgrades. Oh yeah, and did I mention that this bike in particular has a dedicated headlight button on and off and a horn. Now we've done 15 kilometers. If I take a look at my voltage, if I let it kind of balance out, we're at 48.3 volts. So essentially half battery. So that means theoretically we have 30 kilometers of range. What's that in miles, like 22? Yeah, so in case it's not obvious, I'm a huge fan of this bike. The only area I think they can improve is the brakes. I would have liked to seen hydraulic disc brakes. But other than that, a lot of people want a cheap $1,000 bike, and this gives you the most bang for your dollar. The ergonomics, riding position, the pedaling, it's all very comfortable. You get those nice extra features like fenders, a rear rack, the option for a front rack. Even my much more expensive P51, which costs nearly $4,000, doesn't have those features. And the bike is full suspension. That in and of itself, at the $1,000 price range, is phenomenal. You might be tempted away because of the aesthetics. I know a lot of people like the moped aesthetics. This to some people might look a little bit wonky. Okay, that police drove super close to me. But yeah, if you can put up with these slightly dorky aesthetics, the value here is unbeatable. I guess this is also a good time to mention that this bike is completely street legal. 750 watts, pedal assist, and it has up to class 3 speeds, as we previously discovered. So if you guys are interested, I'll leave a link down below. It'll be an affiliate link, so if you buy through my link, it helps to support what I do here. But with that said, that's it for this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.